Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast with Kyra Howearth. Hi, I'm Kyra, business astrologer, moon manifesting mama, author, teacher, and mentor. I teach you how to harness the energy of the moon, stars, and cosmos so you can manifest your dreams and discover a deeper purpose to your life. Hey there, welcome back to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. It's Kyra Howearth here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my tips for manifesting during Sagittarius season. So in this episode, I'm going to be having a chat a bit about the new moon and full moon coming up in Sagittarius season 2022 specifically, and we're going to be looking at, all the other cosmic energy and how to work with this energy so that you can manifest your goals, manifest the life that you really, truly desire. So before we dive into our kind of regular episode where I chat all about the astrology, I actually wanted to start this episode off by doing something a little bit different. So in my hands, I have a copy of the Moon Manifesting Tarot. So if you are watching this episode on YouTube or on Spotify, then you'll be able to see I have my deck. So my tarot deck is here in my hands. Oh my God, this is like, whoa, such a cool thing. So my tarot deck was my big project for 2022. And I have, really spent all year working on this deck, from everything from illustrating through to coming up with this concept, which I'm going to share with you in a second as well. Writing almost 200-page guidebook as well. I did absolutely everything. It was such a huge journey, and I'm just so proud of myself for getting here to actually, following through and having a created tarot deck in my hands. So if this is something that's interesting for you, if you've been thinking about making your own tarot deck, be sure to tune back in to the Moon Manifesting podcast over the next few weeks, because I'm going to be sharing more about my journey of creating my own tarot deck and showing some lessons that I learned along the way. So what I'm going to do, rather than just chat about my tarot deck, I'm going to be pulling a card from my tarot deck to start us off with a bit of a message about Sagittarius season. Just something that we need to know, a message from the cards. So as I shuffle my cards and find the card that wants to come out for us today, the Moon Manifesting Tarot, I'll share a little bit about it. It's a 82 card deck that follows the Rider-Waite traditional deck. I found 2 cards here, by the way. And so I've got, an 82 card deck. Every single card has an additional layer of a meaning that is related to the moon or related to astrology. So the cards I have pulled here is actually quite interesting, because it will allow me to kind of explain a bit more in depth. So the 2 cards I've pulled for Sagittarius season, I have the Devil, which if you can see on the video, the Devil is associated with the moon in Capricorn. I also have the King of Cups, which is associated with the waning moon in Pisces. So on these cards, I have these associations with the moon for, like this extra layer of meaning. And it was just such an amazing journey of coming up with this concept and seeing how the cards just aligned with this lunar energy. So I'm really excited to share this more with you guys through future episodes, and we can chat more about the deck. Anyway, a bit of a reading for what's coming up with these 2 cards for Sagittarius season. The Devil. The Devil is all about breaking free of the things that are keeping us stuck. It's about breaking free from our own chains. I've illustrated this card as a pair of hands in handcuffs, chained together. So it's really about where we're keeping ourselves back, where we are holding ourselves back. Perhaps we are keeping ourselves stuck. So Sagittarius season can be a really good opportunity to break free from those binds and to find more freedom in your life. Moon in Capricorn, the association with the Devil card, is all about where we feel like our lives are quite rigid or structured. So maybe assessing those rules and traditions that you're living by and considering maybe, you know, is there a way that you can break free of those rules and traditions? If they're no longer serving you, if they're holding you back, then yeah, this is something to look at. So the other card I pulled is the King of Cups, waning moon in Pisces. So King of Cups is really about mastering your emotions. Emotional mastery is, yeah, I think the keyword that I've got in the guidebook. It's really about, you know, controlling like those feelings that come up, being aware of them and being able to have some control over your emotions and your feelings rather than being controlled by them. So a really powerful card here where you're coming into the power of not only like your emotions, but also coming into the power of your like your intuition, your psychic abilities. King of Cups is very intuitive, very very like seeing into other realms type vibe. So yeah, this could see you know, an increase in you know, in the collective's ability to master our emotions and master our intuition. Alrighty, I'm going to stop chatting about cards. I'm going to dive into the astrology now for what's coming up. But yeah, if you are interested in getting your hands on a copy of the Moon Manifesting Tarot, it will be launched real soon, and I really cannot wait to share that all with you in the very near future. So stay tuned for more info about the Moon Manifesting Tarot. Alrighty, so let's chat about Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius season is starting on the 22nd of November when the sun moves into Sagittarius. So when we're talking about Sagittarius season, we are of course talking about those 4 weeks when the sun is moving through Sagittarius. And so this roughly happens around the same time each year, give or take a day, especially depending on what part of the world you're in. I'm pretty sure that for most parts of the world, it's the 22nd of November that Sagittarius season begins in 2022. So the Sagittarius season begins, and then just a few days later we have the new moon in Sagittarius, which is where the sun and moon both align to the same degree in Sagittarius. And so this is happening quite early in Sagittarius season. Both the moon and sun will be aligning at 1 degree 38 minutes Sagittarius, and that is going to be happening on the 24th of November at about 9:57 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. For those of you who are in the UK or the US, that's going to be happening in the evening on the 23rd of November. But yeah, if you're in Aussie, if you're in New Zealand or Asia, then yeah, we're looking at the morning of the 24th. So this new moon in Sagittarius is a really powerful time for setting intentions for the things that Sagittarius is associated with. So Sagittarius vibes, we're talking about travel, we're talking about education. The Sagittarius energy is all about deepening our understanding of the world around us. So the new moon in Sagittarius is a really good opportunity to set intentions for, you know, maybe going on an adventure, for traveling, to explore new places. It can also be a really good time to set those intentions for starting a new course, starting a new book, you know, pursuing something that you're passionate about, pursuing your interests. So go with what you're feeling in your heart. And I cannot stress this enough. When the new moon comes around, really sit down and feel into your heart and see what comes up for you. See what you feel interested in pursuing with that new moon energy. Because I feel like one of the mistakes I see a lot with moon manifesting when people are setting intentions, and I do this all the time personally, is we tend to set our intentions from our logical space. We're using our head rather than going into our heart space. And you know, I often, I find that, you know, when we come from our headspace, we're thinking about, okay, what's the most logical thing that I want to manifest with this? And we're like, you know, really thinking about it and being strategic about it. But there is so much more power when you come from your heart space, when you really feel into that energy and you really feel what's coming up for you, rather than trying to change it into, you know, something that you want it to be. When you go with what you're feeling, you're going to have much better results manifesting that intention. So whether that's for the Sagittarius new moon or any other new moon, that's my number one tip for, you know, actually manifesting that intention, is by setting that intention in alignment with what your heart is calling you. Okay, so yeah, we've got the new moon 1 degree in Sagittarius. So then about a week after the new moon in Sagittarius, we have the first quarter moon in Pisces. So whenever it's Sagittarius season, you will find that the first quarter moon will always be in Pisces, the full moon will always be in Gemini, and the last quarter moon will always be in Virgo. These 4 signs are the mutable signs in astrology. That's their quality. We have 3 different qualities. We have cardinal, we have fixed, and we have mutable. So Sagittarius and Pisces and Gemini and Virgo are all mutable signs. So mutable in astrology, all these signs, like what's common about them is that the energy can be quite changeable. Mutable simply means that the energy, like it's not it's not really fixed or stubborn. Like those signs, that energy can like really change. It can be adaptable, it can be flexible, it kind of can go more with the flow. And so you'll find with this Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is about, you know, exploring new things and opening your mind to new possibilities. So you can see already there's like some of that mutable energy coming through with Sagittarius season. So anyways, we have the first quarter moon in Pisces. That's going to be occurring on the 30th of November or maybe the early hours of the morning on the 1st of December, depending if you're on the eastern side of Australia or in New Zealand. But anyways, yeah, around the 30th of November. So the first quarter moon is always a good time for taking action towards your goals. So those intentions that you set with the Sagittarius new moon, whatever they may have been, the first quarter moon is where we find that shift in energy from simply dreaming about those intentions and goals that we want to set to actually taking action. So because we have that Pisces energy with the first quarter moon, you can use your intuition, you can use your subconscious feelings to really push through and take aligned action towards those goals. So pay attention to what's coming up in your intuition. Pay attention to what's coming through in your dreams and take action. Don't just let those feelings and like subconscious thoughts kind of, you know, float away like back into dreamland. Bring them down into reality and take action accordingly. So about a week after the first moon in Pisces, we're going to be having the full moon in Gemini. Yay! I love Gemini energy because I'm a Gemini sun, and yeah, I like I like tuning into the Gemini energy. So the full moon in Gemini, this full moon is going to be occurring at 16 degrees and 2 minutes Gemini on the 8th of December, and that's going to be occurring exactly at 3:08 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. If you are elsewhere in the world, that could be occurring in the early morning of the 8th of December, or I think maybe even in America, it could be happening on the 7th, on the evening of the 7th of December. So yeah, just double checking the times for your location, so that if you do work with those exact times, so that yeah, you can work with that exact time. So the full moon in Gemini, I'll talk a little bit about general like full moon and Gemini stuff. I'm going to be talking a bit more specifically about what's coming up with this one, because there's some interesting energy coming up for this full moon. So full moons are of course the peak energy of the lunar cycle. So I often say the intentions that you set on the new moon will manifest on the full moon in that same sign, which is about 6 months later. So for the full moon in Gemini, you're often going to be manifesting the intentions that you set on the new moon in Gemini, which was probably back in June. It should have been in June. It may have been in May. I cannot recall off the top of my head. But you can look back. If you have a moon journal, such as the Moon Manifesting Planner, this is the 22 edition that I'm holding up. You can, of course, get the 2023 version now. But these journals, they have space for you to record your intentions. Every new moon, there's a card spread, there's journal prompts, there's all that good stuff for every new and full moon. So if you're ever like, oh, what intentions did I set 6 months ago? You can just easily flip back into your journal and find out what what intentions you set and see if they are actually manifesting, because that's what it's all about. Like, often we set those intentions and forget and it doesn't happen. But yeah, when you check back, you can keep yourself accountable, see, if you're on track to manifesting and that sort of stuff. So anyways, full moon in Gemini, we're seeing this peak energy, and with Gemini being like the sign of communication and your social life, then this is often a time of the year when we do feel really social, and we're getting together and having Christmas parties or end of year parties often around this time. So the full moon in Gemini is often like that peak energy where we're feeling, right in the peak of our social life. And there's a lot of like celebration type energy happening as well. So that's kind of the energy that's coming up with this full moon. But there's kind of a bit of a spinner in the works, because this full moon in Gemini is conjunct Mars in Gemini, which is still in retrograde. So if you haven't already heard about Mars in retrograde, I highly recommend that you jump back a few episodes. I cannot recall the exact number episode. It might have been like number 87 or 88 on the Moon Manifesting podcast, where I do talk about Mars retrograde and exactly what's going on with that energy. Mars is in retrograde until the 13th of January. So yeah, if you haven't already checked out what's going on with Mars, be sure to check out that episode, because that will tell you a lot more about what you need to know there. But yeah, this full moon in Gemini particularly, it is really conjunct this Mars retrograde. So this full moon energy is really going to be highlighting that Mars retrograde energy. So what that really means in a nutshell is that our, like, Mars retrograde, right, it's like, bring up all our frustrations and that sort of thing, and make us feel quite impatient. And so you may find that this full moon in Gemini can really exacerbate those feelings. You might be feeling quite angry. You might be feeling quite frustrated. You might be feeling like things are just manifesting so slowly for you, and you're just itching to just get things happening. So yeah, if that's happening, if you're finding like yourself at the full moon in Gemini, and you're like, oh my God, why am I feeling so stuck? It's nothing to do with you. It's just that Mars is in retrograde, and so we're really going to be feeling that energy quite strongly with the full moon in Gemini. Of course, if you have any planets on your natal chart that are around 16 degrees Gemini, then you're going to be feeling that quite strongly. My natal Jupiter is 19 degrees Gemini. So yeah, I know I'm going to be feeling that quite strongly. I have quite a few planets in Gemini. So yeah, this Mars retrograde has been really testing for me. But I just keep remembering, okay, it's Mars retrograde. I just need to slow down a bit, and, things will all be good. So if you're on the same boat, just take a few deep breaths. It will all be fine. It will all be over soon. Alrighty, so back to moon manifesting throughout Sagittarius season. So we then have the last quarter moon in Virgo, which is going to be happening around the 16th of December. Last quarter moon energy is all about letting go, reviewing, reflecting. We're coming towards the end of the moon cycle and also approaching the end of Sagittarius season. So this is a really good time to reflect on, what's been going on the past few weeks, what you've achieved, what you've manifested, what needs to change moving forward into the next moon cycle. These are all good questions to be asking yourself around the last quarter moon. It's always a really good opportunity to get out your journal and reflect, write out all the things that you have manifested, write out about the things that you haven't manifested, write about the stuff that's going good, the stuff that's not going so good. It is a really good opportunity to learn from the past, to learn from, what's already happened, and you can make changes accordingly moving forward based on those reflections. So the last quarter moon in Virgo especially is a really good opportunity to get yourself more organized as well. Like if you're feeling quite unorganized, if your house is like, a bomb has hit it, sort of really messy, the last quarter moon in Virgo can be a really good opportunity to, review that mess and try to make some sense of it. Try to tidy things up in your life, whether that's, physically putting away clutter, or maybe it's more like, energetically, or just, sorting out stuff in your head. Like if your brain is just a mess, then getting it all out onto paper can be something that's really helpful there too. So that is pretty much what's coming up through Sagittarius season. I hope that this episode was super helpful for you. You got to have a sneak peek of the Moon Manifesting Tarot deck, which is going to be released real soon. Stay tuned for that. And we chatted about, the moon and what's going on with the moon throughout Sagittarius season and how to tune into that energy. I think there was probably heaps of other things I really wanted to say in this episode, but I think that will do for now. So I will catch you all on the next episode of the Moon Manifesting Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I would love to know if this episode resonated with you, if there's some energies that are coming up that you're maybe excited about. Maybe that new moon in Sagittarius has got you excited about new possibilities that could be opening up. Let me know. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram at kyrahowearth.official, or head over to the link in the show notes to head over to the accompanying blog post, and you can start the conversation there. There is space to comment and stuff. I would love to I'd love to know your insights from this episode. So be sure to like, subscribe, follow, give a review, or all that sort of good stuff that you can do, that you can interact with, depending on where you're listening to today. I've just loved hearing your reviews and reading your reviews. It always warms my heart that you guys love what I have to share about the moon and manifesting and all the other random stuff that I chat about here. Alrighty, catch you on the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. If you're wanting more moon magic, check out my book, Moon Manifesting. Download your free Moon Manifesting calendar or connect with me on social media. You can do all of that at kyrahowearth.com.au. Stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll speak with you in the next episode.